pop up for you, Dave. There we go.
What's happening?
We're losing roughly 20 veterans a day to suicide. I don't want any more people to fall through the cracks.
It's in a bad place when I got out, and these guys perked me right up.
Everybody MVP, let's go. Bring it in, bring it in. Whether you're a war fighter or a cage fighter, you fight around the football field. As we're training together, you're all brothers and sisters together, right? Nate and I, we've seen way too many of our friends, when they're done, go down a bad road. And it's one of the reasons we started MVP. So we're just trying to get that team again. You guys good with that? Cool? After high school, I wasn't really doing much with my life. And then 9/11 happened. That put me on a different trajectory. I started to think more globally.
Did anyone hear me?
Represents the horse soldiers. That's the first war fighters that went to Afghanistan after 9/11. The motto is to free the oppressed. And that was something that spoke to me more than anything else about being a Green Beret and why I aspired to be one. I did a total of 3 deployments. But within that time, I decided to go back to college and play football. Using all the skills that I learned in the military and confidence that I built. And I tried out for the football team at Texas, even though I never played before. And I made it. And I worked myself up the ladder there and eventually had an opportunity with the Seahawks. I was actually really lucky. My transition didn't really happen until football was over. That was really hard for me. You feel inadequate or you feel like you'll never do anything as important as you did before. Those voices in your head just creep in, and it's a really difficult journey to navigate. All right, MVP! Appreciate everybody here coming today.
MVP was born out of conversations between Jay Glazer and I about the similarities in that struggle with the transition for combat vets and former professional athletes. Once you go through something physical with somebody, you're a lot more willing to open up to that person and relate on a different level.
We're growing this thing all over the country, and this is a really important piece of the puzzle. So be that connector, because that's going to keep you alive, because you know there's so many people that rely on you. What I fought for is absolute freedom. If someone doesn't feel equal, they don't feel like they count as much as I do, I want to fight for them. I want to make change. That's part of who I am now. The group that's going to bring this country back together and reunite us is going to be the veteran community. I truly believe that. And I think athletes can play a hand in that as well. We have that common mission. We respect one another because we know if the bullets start flying, that man on my left and my right is going to take one from me if he has to. And that's what a change maker is. Above anything else, they try to do the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. 1, 2, 3, MVP!
Oh, let me figure out how to stop everything.
There we go.
Sorry
We
about
got it there eventually. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Scripts Gone Wild and our series of virtual reads that we can all enjoy from the confines of our self-quarantine dojos. Take this moment to click the subscribe button. With me, as always, is the real-life inspiration for the film Operation Dumbo Drop, Dave Lawson. Dave! Tonight, we're doing a really awesome read. It's one of the greatest comedies of all time, and it's a particular favorite of Mr. Lawson, and that movie is Stripes.
Stripes.
Yes, and we're raising money for a great charity. Dave, why don't you talk to us about the charity and Stripes?
Yeah, so this is something that, you know, I've been wanting to do. I think I first hit you up about this like a year and a half ago that I really wanted to do Stripes. It's one of my favorite 80s comedy. Ross, you should have that in your Facebook thread because I'm out of ways to email it to you now. And MVP, everybody saw the video. It's something that I got involved in a couple years ago. It's a really awesome charity. So you know, everybody on here is donating their time to read a really awesome movie that some of you haven't seen. For some reason, fucking Jeremy Gardner hasn't seen the movie Stripes, and he's wrong. Yeah, no yeah, he's wrong because it's one of the best films. Anyway, so if you feel so inclined, please go donate. I'll throw up. I'll be in the chat with everybody tonight, and I'll be throwing up the website where you can go donate.
Yeah, and yeah, and it's a really we have multiple vet. Is someone else a veteran also, or is it just you, Dave?
Oh, Darren, that's right. Darren's
Darren,
also.
that's right. Yeah, Darren.
Oh,
is
yeah.
also on that.
Thank you for
Yay!
your service.
I'll drink to
Thank
that.
Also, Darren, you're still in healthcare, right?
Yes,
So now he's like he went from one front line to another.
Oh my God.
basically. Yeah.
Jesus Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
now
yeah. And Dave Steele's a firefighter. We got all kinds of first responders.
that's
Wow.
even better.
You guys are the real MVPs, man. Thank you for
Yep.
your service. Seriously.
Thank you.
Oh, dude, I don't do anything. You'll learn that quick.
I'm going to introduce our readers right now. And to do that, I'm going to play a very special song.
Oh,
Let me get this going.
oh, it's like we have something to do, but we don't know how to do it.
We've got Mr. Henry Zebrowski. We've got Ross Marquand, Erin Cummings, Clarke Wolfe, Jeremy Gardner, Aaron LaPlante, Rico Anderson, Alex Marshall Brown,
Hey there.
Chris Devlin, Clay Keller, Ashley Song, Darren Smith, and Dave Steele. Thank you guys for reading with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy Ray.
Good to be here. Awesome.
Hey, I think
Jeremy,
that's
how many
that's
buttons
worked
do you have
perfectly.
buttoned on your shirt right now?
Me?
Well, every time somebody asks me how many buttons I have, I open one more.
That's it.
Yes.
Hey guys, everybody,
everyone.
congratulations to Jeremy. He got engaged last night.
Hey,
Yes.
thanks,
Congratulations.
guys.
Another
made a
horse in
terrible
the stable.
And it's Dave's anniversary, correct?
I can't believe they're letting me marry a cat.
It's these liberals.
Somebody has to. It is 20 years. 20 years today.
Oh, congrats on the anniversary, Dave. 20 years. Jesus.
Thank you.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Oh,
crazy.
there she is.
Oh,
Hey,
Hey.
Hi, Boo. I love her.
I'm going to run down the rules real quick for folks out there who are not familiar with what the fuck we do. Scripts Gone Wild is a drinking game. When readers miss their cue, flub a line, anything that we can through as a mistake, and that's a lot, they drink. Our social media followers choose 2 social words, and whenever those words are spoken by a reader in the script, everyone drinks. And those words are Army and Hulka. And now this only applies when the readers speak the words, not me. And those words are spoken frequently. So
I will say, as I say every week, if you feel like you'd like to drink when Billy Ray says the lines, feel free.
feel free. I mean, the real readers will drink whenever I say it too.
Yeah, no, but if you just
No
want
pressure.
to be a pretend person, then you know, whatever. It's
Yeah.
up to you. It's kind of like Fight Club. You determine your own involvement.
Just never
Hey.
talk about
Our Patreon subscribers, they also choose a line from the film, and usually one of the most popular ones. And when we get to that line, everybody finishes whatever is in their hands, whether it's a couple sips or a fresh pour. And Dave, what is that line?
Oh my God, now I forgot it, and I'm also trying to clean my.
You want to take a swing at me, Winger.
Yeah, I have something on the top of my beer. I
You
don't know.
want to take a swing at me, Winger is the line from Patreon. Guys, any of you have any questions about things you're confused about, or?
Honestly,
Man.
even if they do, I don't care. Let's just start up because it'll be funnier for me if they have to drink.
Oh, Dave is also has access to what we call a soundboard.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to run it at the same time that I'm also running the Google Chat. So we'll see how this all works. But
If it doesn't work, it's Dave's fault.
most things are.
Most things are. Okay, well, if that's it, then I think we're ready. So now we're going to read Stripes. Screenplay by Lynn Blum, Dan Goldberg, and Harold Ramis. Rest in peace, Harold Ramis. A TV screen. An Army recruitment ad plays with no sound as the credits begin. The camera pulls back to show that the TV is in the window of an appliance store on a busy downtown street. A yellow cab is parked at the curb. Leaning against the cab is the driver, Roy Winger, a tough and ready college dropout in his mid-20s. He drinks coffee from a paper cup as he watches the Army ad and waits for a fare. 2 teenagers walk up, get into the cab, and call for Roy to hurry. He checks them off with a disdainful look, gets in, and drives off. He sits in traffic, unable to go forward or change lanes. Some idiot in the car behind him is honking incessantly. Roy rubs his eyes with weary resignation. The cab pulls up in front of a nice high-rise on a block of high-rent apartment buildings. Roy flips the flag on the taxi meter and turns around to collect the fare. The back doors are open. The teenagers are gone. Roy jumps out just in time to see the teenagers springing down the street, already too far away to consider chasing them. In a rage, Roy whirls around and pounds on the roof of the cab with incredible force. At that instant, he looks up and finds himself face to face with a stuffy dowager in matching mink hat and stole. She is aghast.
Taxi.
Language school, day. A classroom is full of assorted adult immigrants sitting in rows, chatting with each other in a variety of languages. The door opens and the instructor enters. It is Harold Ziske, a gawky, energetic young man in a very baggy three-piece suit.
Good morning. This is Basic English. My name is Mr. Ziske, and I'll be your instructor for the next 5 weeks. So I want you to call me Harold, and I'll call you by your first names, because frankly, I'd have a pretty hard time pronouncing some of your last names. So
Kind of racist.
well, yeah. I'm going to keep my opening remarks brief because I know you want to jump right in and start speaking English, but this is my first day as an English instructor, so there are just a couple of things I need you to know first. How many of you would say you speak English fairly well, but with some difficulty? All right, then. And how many of you speak some English, but not very well? A little English? No English at all whatsoever.
The students look around confused. Harold sighs deeply and enunciates clearly.
Hello.
Hello.
Great. Okay. Now, anybody here speak any English?
A small round man at the front suddenly catches on and puts his hand up.
Yes, you speak English.
Fart off, you cheese dip.
Fart off.
Fart off, you cheese dip.
Freeway on-ramp, Roy's cab waits in heavy traffic to get into the expressway. The dowager is haranguing Roy in a pushy, grating tone.
Now, I know exactly what this ride should cost, young man, so don't you think you're fooling me with your shortcuts.
This is the fastest way, ma'am.
He pulls out fast onto the expressway, shooting through a gap in traffic.
Why you gotta drive so fast?
Roy looks around at the woman. He looks crazy.
Yes, I think it's my duty as a cab driver to speed like a maniac at all times.
Roy cuts across 2 lanes and makes it into the fast lane where he's able to cruise along at a decent speed. The dowager is rummaging through her purse for a pen and notepad.
Well, I'm just gonna take down your name and your number and report you to your superiors. What do you think of that?
I tell you what, lady, don't bother to take the number. Just bring him the whole goddamn cab, okay?
He screeches to a stop and gets out. Traffic is already backing up in all 4 lanes behind Roy's stalled cab. Angry drivers honk and yell as Roy walks over a stopped car and starts to climb the embankment. The dowager gets out and looks around for help.
Ooh, that cab, fat ass! It's not mine, but I'll do it anyway.
Up yours, buddy.
Harold, sitting at the front of the classroom, looks at his watch.
Okay, let's try it one more time and then we'll call it a day. I met her on Monday and my heart stood still.
Do
run,
Run.
Somebody told me that her name was Jill.
Run.
The hallway outside the classroom, a stodgy administrator carrying a clipboard stops outside Harold's classroom and listens. Roy is crossing the street carrying a pizza and a freshly dry-cleaned white dress out on a hanger and a plastic cleaning bag. Suddenly, he spots 2 men breaking into his spiffy 79 Camaro. Roy drops the dress in the pizza box and starts running towards them.
Hey, stop that. That's my car. Help, stop.
Before Roy can reach them, the men have started the car and are driving toward him.
Instant finance. You're late on your payments, pal. Here's the warrant.
He throws an envelope at Roy as the car passes, driving over the pizza box and cleaning bag lying on the street. In Roy's apartment, this top-floor apartment is like apartment.
Drink.
It's like a funky artist studio with a skylight and a high ceiling, and it's furnished in this thrift shop modern style. Amidst the general disorder, like conga drums, maracas, a guitar, and a basketball. Roy enters, slamming the door, and Anita, his girlfriend, calls out from another room.
Roy,
It's me.
did you get my dress from the cleaners?
Yeah, I got it.
You're really early, aren't you?
Hi, babe. I got you a pizza too.
He holds up the smashed pizza box. Anita bursts into tears and walks back into the bedroom. Roy gets up and goes to the bedroom door. Anita is getting dressed, grimly ignoring Roy.
I had a real rough day, babe.
You deserve it.
They repossessed my car.
It's your own fault.
I quit my job.
I can't take it anymore, Roy.
I know. I'm going to change. I promise.
That's what you said last week.
How much can a guy change in a week?
It hasn't been a week. It's been 6 months and nothing's changed. You sleep till noon, you watch Rocky and Bullwinkle, you drive your cab for a couple of hours, you order Chinese, you play those stupid Tito Puente albums until 2 in the morning.
Tito Puente is great.
You watch movies till dawn, then you come to bed.
You don't think that takes energy? Right? There's only so much living that you can pack into one day.
She finds her other knee sock and raises her perfectly formed bare leg onto the bed in front of his face. Roy, wide-eyed, follows the knee sock as she pulls it up.
It's not funny, Roy. You're going nowhere, and it's not that cute anymore.
Roy playfully lunges at Anita just as she moves out of frame, and missing her, he falls onto the floor.
I'm part of a lost and restless generation. Anita, I need you.
You're a nice guy, and you're good in bed and everything, but life is more than just sex, TV, and pizza. I need to find someone who'll help me develop, who'll grow with me.
She walks
Goodbye,
out of the room.
Roy.
Then go. I'll do without the sex.
The apartment door slams as Anita leaves.
No, I won't. What am I saying?
There's a knock at the door.
You better be on your knees.
Where's the rent, winger?
Where's the hot water, Mr. Bisco?
You got water, so don't bullshit me. You owe me 2 months.
Did you hear of a rent? You ever hear?
Great.
You ever hear of a rent strike? Right? I put that money in escrow at the bank until I get some action over here on the plumbing.
You're evicted, winger.
Ha ha ha! You're gonna need a court order for that, my friend.
I've already been to court. You got 1 day, winger. You're not out. The cops come and throw you out, okay?
You'll be hearing from my attorneys, Bisco.
He slams the door shut. Frustrated, Roy grabs a basketball and starts shooting baskets at a backboard mounted on the wall. And there's another knock at the door.
Go away.
The door opens and Harold enters carrying a suitcase.
Hi, what's the matter with you?
Nothing.
He takes a savage hook shot that misses the backboard completely and smashes through a window.
Nice shot. Can I take your last beer?
Why not? Everything else I had is gone.
He goes to the broken window and looks down to the street for his basketball.
Hey, ball up.
Like what?
Like what? Like I quit my job, my car got repossessed. Anita just left me for good, and Bisco evicted me. I have 1 day to get out of here.
You still have your health.
Hey, you! Ball up!
He leans out the window and holds out his hands to catch the ball, but it smashes back through the window next to him.
Thanks a lot, idiot.
I got fired today myself.
I didn't even know you had a job.
On my way into a language school job, I told them I was fluent in Chinese, Italian, Greek, and Mexican, all the ones with restaurants. But, it didn't work out. Oh, that's I'm going. I think I need something less structured.
Yeah, like begging. Listen, I'm going to have to stay at your place for a while, I guess.
Oh, not possible. My roommate just kicked me out. He said the place was a little too small for 2 people.
It's a 3-bedroom apartment.
What can I tell you? The guy's an asshole. We could try the Hare Krishna's temple again. That was sort of peaceful, wasn't it?
Ah, forget it. It took 6 months for my hair to grow back. I look like Gandhi.
Roy pulls the sheet off the bed and tosses it to Harold, who takes it back to the living room and spreads it on the floor.
Well, they gave us all the brown rice we could eat, didn't they?
Roy comes out of the bedroom carrying a drawer full of clothes and dumps it on the sheet.
Harold, I don't want you to take this personally, but when we started hanging around together, I had no idea it would lead to this kind of squalor and deprivation.
In the kitchen, Harold finishes his beer and takes the can over to the sink.
You want to take these dishes?
Have they been washed?
No.
Fuck them.
Living room. Roy is putting his Tito Puente records into the pile as Harold comes back over and sees the fuzzy TV picture. Trying to fix it, Harold pounds the side of the set, accidentally putting his fist right through the chassis. The picture gets better. The TV screen, an Army recruiting ad plays showing various career and travel opportunities and listing other advantages to military service. Harold stares intently.
Hey, Roy, this looks great.
What looks great?
The Army. Have you seen this?
Army?
Great. Yep.
Take it easy, Harold. I think we're getting a little desperate.
Desperate? No, I'm not. We could go to Europe.
Harold, it's not like a paid vacation. This is the army we're talking about. Right?
Army.
They're going to turn you into a human killing machine.
Come on, it's peacetime. You don't kill people. Well, maybe a few people, but look, we could join up together.
We? What do you mean we? There's no possible way that I am going to be joining the army.
Army! Guys, we're gonna be fucked up after this.
Why not?
Deep religious convictions.
Oh, that was me.
That's drink. That's a drink.
Deep religious convictions.
Yeah. Jesus didn't join. Moses didn't join. God didn't join. Muhammad Ali didn't join. All right, and I'm not going to join.
Listen, I saw the kind of guys that go into the army. Went at the welfare office that one day. They're just like us, only not as sharp. We'd be sergeants or corporals in no time, and then all we'd have to do is sit around, do dick, watch girls, get paid, salute the flag, and get paid, salute the flag. You know, order people around. Besides, you can't get fired.
Roy grabs the corners of the sheet and lifts. The sheet rips, leaving Roy's pile of junk on the floor. Roy looks at the pile as we cut to the Army recruiting office. Harold drives his rusting 63 Impala up to the curb next to the Army recruiting office. As the car stops, the muffler falls off and smoke smarts. Blah, blah, blah.
Drink.
Smoke starts to rise from out of the hood. He and Roy get out and slam the door.
Remember, if I get killed, my blood will be on your hands.
Okay, just try to keep it off my shoes.
Hey, this is a loading zone. You can't park here.
We're not parking it. We're abandoning it.
He follows Harold inside. The small cubicle is literally filled with trophies, medals, and pictures of the recruiter wearing various athletic competitions. Roy and Harold are listening as the muscular black recruiter winds up his pitch.
Clay, you have to be black. You have to be black.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Somehow I missed the audition.
I'm not saying the army can do for you what it did for me. All I'm saying is you get out of it what you put into it. Sometimes the army is your best shot. Understand? There's a couple of personal questions I've got to ask you. One, have you ever been convicted of any felonies or misdemeanors? You know, robbery, rape, car theft?
Convicted? No.
No.
Good. Either of you guys homosexuals?
Do we look like homosexuals?
It's just a routine question.
We're not homosexuals.
But we're willing to learn.
Okay, now it's just a question of passing the aptitude test. You do that, you're in.
Test?
Don't worry. They make it so you have to be an idiot to fail.
Exam room. The faces of a row of young men busily working away at the exams. At the end of the row are Roy and Harold. Turning in his chair, Roy checks an answer on the page of the guy next to him. Bus terminal. 3 Greyhound buses stand off on their own at the end of the terminal, while nervous young recruits stand around saying goodbye to parents and friends. MPs stand at the bus doors examining recruits' enlistment papers and helping them aboard. 2 young female MPs are checking bus assignments for the recruits. They are Stella and Louise, and they look attractive in their uniforms. The women are cheerful, efficient, and getting the job done. Roy and Harold, they approach the door to the bus and hand their... They approach Stella and Louise. Roy can't help staring at Stella as she scans his orders.
What are you grinning at?
You look familiar. Didn't we meet in Vietnam?
I don't think so.
Oh, no, really. I'm sure we did. I'm Roy. Remember, I was wounded. You drove me to the hospital and you promised that if I didn't lose a leg, you'd take me dancing. Didn't lose it.
Too bad.
Tell me you don't remember. We were,
Stella puts her fingers to her lips.
You see this band? MP stands for military police. My job is to see that Army recruits get on this bus without getting lost. So why don't you just move along and save the comedy for later, okay?
I suppose a date is out of the question?
Stella smiles and nods as Roy boards the bus.
Do you have your papers?
Yeah, here.
Louise checks the papers.
One way to Fort Arnold. Climb aboard, soldier.
I like the sound of that. Do you work at Fort Arnold?
That's right. I'm stationed there.
Well, maybe we'll run into you down there.
You never know.
Harold gets on the bus.
What do you think?
I hope we don't get into a war.
The bus. Harold sits down next to Roy and they survey the other enlistees.
Looks like a field trip from a mental hospital.
I bet they're okay once you get to know them.
In another seat, a skinny, wild-eyed recruit, Psycho, suddenly jumps up and screams at his seatmate, Hector, a mild-mannered Mexican-American.
Frank.
Well, who is Psycho?
Someone's Psycho.
Someone's got to be Psycho.
You didn't cast Psycho?
I totally cast Psycho.
Tom!
Psycho.
You sure you cast Psycho?
I don't see Psycho on your list.
There's no Psycho on the list.
God damn it. Tom, where's Tom?
That's one of the best
He's
parts.
downstairs. He's watching this live. Do you want me to call him?
Tell Tom to come read Psycho.
Got the
Tom!
memo right then.
Tom, do you mind coming read Psycho? Hold on. Let me text him.
Well, while that's happening,
He
I'll read.
says, I'm watching on downstairs. Okay, well, Tom, we want you to come. He said, I'm good. Come on, Tom.
Dave, read Psycho.
Yeah, Dave is Psycho.
Yeah, Dave reads
Go ahead,
Psycho.
Dave.
It's the best part of the movie.
My radio.
Yeah.
No one heard you, Dave. Take it again. Take two.
Get your hands off my radio. I don't want no one touching my radio.
Hector turns helplessly to Elmo, a stone freak sitting across the aisle.
I didn't touch nothing.
I can't stand this, man. When we gonna get there?
We didn't left yet.
Suddenly, a huge recruit in a loud Hawaiian shirt bounds onto the bus singing. He is Ox.
Oh, daylight come and we want go home. It's a bus to Vegas? I'm just kidding. Go Army!
Army!
Driver, my bags!
He rollicks down the aisle, slapping Roy hard on the back as he passes.
As soon as we get guns, remind me to shoot that one.
Arnold, later, the three buses roll through the main gate and wind through around the base to the reception center. A number of NCOs come out to meet the buses. The doors open and the recruits start filing off, gawking at everything they see. Immediately, the NCOs start barking orders at them. Sergeant Holka, a tough, wiry career soldier, strides up and down among the confused recruits, his voice booming over all the commotion.
Okay, let's move it. Inside. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
The recruits start filing into the reception center as an overbearing young officer, Captain Devlin, comes up to Holka, followed by an aide.
Sergeant Holka?
Holka holds. Go ahead.
Oh.
Did I hear yes, sir? Or
Aren't you going to read the stage directions? You're not. Yes, sir.
crazy. Eddie, Sergeant, I'm Captain Dillman, new company commander.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
Fine looking group of men, don't you think?
Just then, Ox goes by, bellowing to no one in particular.
I think Jeremy's frozen or dead.
No, he's frozen that way. That's great.
That is so awesome. That was a perfect.
He's back now.
He's back.
All right, let's rewind. Fine looking group of men, don't you think?
Just then, Ox goes by, bellowing to no one in particular.
Guys, I don't know where the fuck I'm at. My shit just keeps falling apart.
22.
22.
Fine looking group of men, don't you think?
This better be the mess hall.
You're Oxford now. I can't find anything now.
Okay, great.
Fine looking group of men, don't you think?
This better be the mess hall. How you doing, Eisenhower?
Yes, sir. Good looking group. Yeah, good looking group.
Yes, well, just get them inside and carry on. I guess I'll be in my office if you need me.
Yes, sir.
Gilman walks off, pretending to inspect the buses as he goes by, shouting arbitrary orders to his aide. In the reception hall, Sergeant Holka addresses the recruits from the stage.
And welcome to the United States Army.
Army.
I'm Drill Sergeant Holka. You're Drill Sergeant. Before we go any further, I want to get something straight. Your mama ain't here to take care of you now. It's just you, me, and Uncle Sam. And as far as I'm concerned, me and Uncle Sam, we're one and the same. So you do what I tell you to do.
Warm guy.
Make no mistakes. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what color you are, what how smart you are, how dumb you are. I'm going to teach every last one of you how to eat, sleep, walk, talk, shoot, shit, and think like the United States soldiers, because that's what you're going to be. Understand?
The scared recruits nod silently. As he nods, Ox, clearly the largest man in the room, lets out an enormous fart. The other recruits break out laughing. Psycho laughs the loudest and can't stop.
You
Let it rip.
Thank you.
No, sir, but I bet he does.
Well, I'm going to give you a problem, Private. I don't think this man quite understands the Army attitude. I want you to take him outside and watch him do 50 push-ups.
What I do?
The burly PFC grabs Psycho and leads him towards the door. They pass Roy and Harold on the way out.
I'm going to kill that fucking sergeant.
That's the spirit.
Army barbershop. Roy, Harold, and two other young men are sitting in barber chairs. 1 second, guys. Let's clap for the medical folks since it's that time of the night.
Yeah, everybody's clapping for the medical people.
Thank you.
I'll drink to them.
Cheers.
I'll literally do
Cheers.
anything.
Okay. So yeah, Army barbershop. Roy, Harold, and two other young men are sitting in barber chairs while the rest of the recruits wait their turn. One of the barbers comes over with an electric razor and shaves a trough down the middle of Roy's head. The other recruits laugh, cheer, and applaud as the hair hits the floor.
Hey, this guy looks like the last of the Mohicans.
Roy gives him a dirty look. Elmo, the freak with shoulder-length hair, backs towards the door, but two soldiers stop him. An overhead shot shows a long line of recruits winding their way through the disorienting maze of desks, cubicles, and benches that make up the next stage of Army processing. In the supply depot, the line of fidgety recruits moves past a soldier with a tape measure who rapidly takes their measurements.
And let Erin back in the room.
Oh, shit. She left. Okay, there we go.
Sorry.
What happened?
Oh, we're all good.
There we go.
Small, large, small, large.
Another robot-like soldier slides Army issue clothing packets across the counter to the recruits. Beside him, a third soldier hands out an Army issue underwear.
Jockey boxers?
Do you have anything in a low-rise bikini?
Further along, recruits pull off their trousers and line up to their feet to the measuring devices.
Oh, no, sorry, not doing that. I'm sorry. 10, 12, 9.5, 16.
Processing center. Finally, their processing completed. The tired and unenthusiastic group of recruits emerges from the processing center. They are dragging their duffel bags and look uncomfortable in their stiff new uniforms. Roy comes out, feeling his head to see if he has any hair left. Sergeant Holka is standing in the roadway waiting for them.
Well, now, that's better. At least you're starting to look like soldiers. Now get down here and line up, 3 rows at arm's length, and pick up those bags. Move it! Arm's length, pea-brain, you know where your arm is?
Roy, too tired and pissed off to argue, gets into position. Harold falls beside him, really pleased with his new uniform and equipment.
So what do you think? Pretty good so far, huh?
Now, the first thing we're going to learn is how to mark time. I'll start. When you boys think you've figured it out, you just join in. And left, 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 right, left.
The disorganized recruits try to get in step with Holka. Harold starts singing energetically to himself, really getting into the rhythm.
There she was, just walking down the street, singing do-a-dee-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-doo, snapping her fingers and shuffling her feet, singing do-a-dee-dee-dee-dum-dee-doo. She looked good.
Look good.
Look fine.
Look fine.
He looks pleased with the platoon's growing spirit.
He did it.
Forward!
Fine. And I nearly
My mind.
I nearly lost my mind.
The bedraggled platoon, not quite in step, no shit, marches off behind Sergeant Holka, continuing to sing. The barracks night. Roy and Harold's platoon are sitting on the floor at the foot of their bunks as one of the recruits makes his introduction of himself. He's Cruiser, a short, flat-headed recruit with 2 missing teeth and a nervous twitch.
Well, my name's Howard Turkstra. I'm from Kansas City, and I joined the Army because my father and my brother were in the Army. My hobbies are fast cars and fast women.
Yeah.
which is why the guys in the car club, they call me the Cruiser.
Oh, they should have called him the dork.
Okay, Mr. Push-Ups, your turn.
Psycho glares at Hulka.
My name is Francis Collins, but everybody calls me Psycho. Anyone calls me Francis, I'll kill him. I don't like when people touch my stuff, so keep your meat hooks off. If I catch anybody in my stuff, I'll kill them. Also, I don't want anybody touching me. Any of you homos touch me, I'll kill you.
Lighten up, Francis. You're all in this together. One of these men may save your life one day.
I wouldn't count on it.
Okay, you're next.
Oh boy. All right. Well, my name's Stewie Oxburger, but you can just call me Ox. I joined the Army because I was too fat to get into the Marine. No, I'm just kidding, Sarge. No, really, I joined because my mother was bugging me about just hanging around the house all the time, not getting a job. And then when I smashed up her car, she had said either to pay for it or get out. There's no way I was going to pay for that thing. It's a piece of junk. So I came here.
Next, Harold Ziski,
Oh, you want to know why I enlisted?
if it's not too personal.
Oh, ever since I was a kid, the United States was always first. You know, we always had the biggest cars, the best basketball. We put the first man on the moon, and we for sure got the best rock and roll. Am I right? Anyway, but now this country, it's in trouble, and it seems like everybody's just looking out for himself. Nobody's pulling together anymore. They're worried about their mortgage or their family or their job, and they can't just drop everything to go off and serve their country. But fortunately for me, I lost my job. I got kicked out of my apartment, and everything I owned was either stolen or repossessed. So I'm the perfect person to join the Army and defend American ideals throughout the world. I would also like to have sexual relations with as many uniformed women as I can. Thank you.
He gets a rousing ovation.
Your turn, son. Last but not least, I hope.
My name is Roy Winger. Basically, I'd have to say I got roped into joining by a friend because I couldn't think of a single good reason why I enlisted. The pay stinks, I look lousy and green, and I'm not that interested in heavy artillery. But here I am anyway, in the Army.
Army?
A victim of circumstance. Fucked.
Sounds like you got a little morale problem, son.
Well, there's no rule that says I have to like it, is there?
No, in fact, that attitude I can personally guarantee that you're gonna hate it. Now hit the sack, Raviel at 0500. Whatever the fuck that means.
Reveille.
Ravalli. Old Ravalli.
Fuck it. Let's move on.
The barracks. The door opens and Roy sneaks out wearing his civilian clothes. He makes sure the coast is clear, then sprints across the road. Harold wakes up in the top bunk and leans over the edge to talk to Roy.
Roy,
He sees Roy's bunk is empty and tumbles on the floor. Now we're on the Quonset hut. Roy sneaks around a corner and starts to run for the fence. Suddenly, Harold comes sprinting out of the shadows in his underwear and tackles Roy.
Where are you going?
Get off me. I'm getting out of here, Harold. This is a big mistake.
How do you know? We didn't even start yet.
I'll tell you how I know. That sergeant is an animal. I'm afraid of people with that much hair on their knuckles.
If you run away now, you're in big trouble. I'm begging you, Roy, as your friend. Please, give it a chance.
I gave it a chance. It's been a whole day already. My marriage didn't last this long.
They'll hunt you down, Roy. They use the FBI for deserters. It's a federal offense. Don't ruin your whole life over this. Please, don't run.
Okay, you're right. I'll stay, but I'm going to be the worst soldier that they ever saw. I promise you, in a month, they're going to be begging me to quit.
Thanks, Roy.
He impulsively hugs Roy just as a Jeep rounds a corner and shines a spotlight on him. They freeze. Stella and Louise, the two MPs, see Roy being hugged by Harold in his underwear.
This isn't what you think.
We're just good friends.
We'll just go back to our barracks now.
Night, night.
What do you think?
I think they're too weird to be gay.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. I think it is. Okay, Louise nods and Fort Arnold, the sun rises over the Army post as reveille is played over the loudspeakers. A montage. Sergeant Holka energetically leads Roy and Harold's platoon through an exhausting day of basic training, which includes PT exercises, close order drills, chow, weapons training, and lots of double timing from activity to activity. At no time does the platoon appear organized or even remotely competent. Roy is clearly the worst of a bad lot, always out of step, loafing through PT, deliberately screwing up whatever possible. Muddy field, late in the day. The camera's close on the platoon's feet, slagging through the mud.
All right, drop and give me 10.
The platoon drops exhaustedly and attempts to do push-ups.
All right, up and double time. Hut, 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 hut.
The platoon struggles slowly out of the mud and everyone is completely soaked and gasping for air. From behind, a crack A1 platoon comes running along in perfect formation. As they run, their tall, well-built drill sergeant is running beside them and singing out lines with his men repeat energetically. This impeccable group runs and sings with poise and precision.
Walk tall and looking good.
Walking tall and looking good.
We ought to be in Hollywood.
We ought to be in Hollywood.
Who are these assholes?
The A1 drill sergeant continues to call cadence as his platoon runs past. Barracks. The barracks door creaks open. Covered in mud and too tired to speak, the wrecked recruits slowly crawl back to their bunks.
I gotta sleep. I go nuts when I don't sleep.
As they flop down, Sergeant Holka jogs in, full of energy.
Now get some rest, man, because in 3.5 hours, I'm going to wake you up for some real training.
As the other recruits groan, Psycho lies in bed, gnashing his teeth.
Holka, you're a dead man. Number one on my list. You got 3.5 hours to live.
Sleep tight, boys.
Holka runs out, switching off the lights. Barracks. Very early morning, Holka switches on the lights.
Up and at 'em, gentlemen. We've got a full day ahead of us, and we're going to start off with a 5-mile run.
I think I'm speaking for everyone here when I suggest that this run could be put off until we're all a little bit more rested.
Tell you what, so we'll make it a 10-mile run. Any complaints? Good. Now move it.
Oh, Jeremy, come on. You got it, buddy. Come on, Jeremy.
What happened?
Oh,
he's not there.
Thanks a lot, Winger. No, Jeremy got kicked off. Somebody's got to pick up his
Nice
slack.
going, asshole.
He's coming back in now.
Okay, great.
The camera pans over to the barracks window. It is raining outside, pouring. The field. As the early morning mist rises in the field, we see the platoon jogging along painfully, loaded down with combat gear.
I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Are we almost there, Sarge?
Yep, just 9 more miles to go, son.
The bayonet drill. The recruits are charging at suspended dummies with fixed bayonets, sticking them once with a loud scream and charging on. Roy runs at a dummy, sticks it once, sticks it again, slams it in the head with his rifle butt, kicks it in the crotch and starts beating it up with his fist. Then he turns, sees Holka glaring at him and raises his fist in triumph. Holka frowns. Training fields. The dog-tired platoon, wearing full packs, jump feebly as Sergeant Holka leads them in a calisthenic drill.
Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2. What's the matter, boys? You can't take the pace?
The men struggle along as the A1 platoon comes jogging past in perfect formation, singing loudly.
Official death list. Holka, drink. You're number 1. Those guys, number 2.
Grenade range. The recruits are standing side by side as Sergeant Holka faces them holding a grenade.
Okay, there's a little strip down the middle of it. I can't see the line, so I'm just going to you just pull the fucking pin. Count the pin and heave the fucking piece of shit grenade into the field.
That's what it said, right?
Yep.
That's close
I
enough.
think that's exactly what it said.
That's simple enough. Now, who wants to go first?
Psycho and Cruiser eagerly put up their hands. Holka tosses the grenade to Cruiser.
You first.
Cruiser steps forward, pulls the pin, and holds the grenade in his right hand as he starts counting on the fingers of his left hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Having run out of fingers, he sticks the grenade between his legs and continues counting on his right hand.
6, 7.
The other recruits dive for cover as Holka runs up behind and kicks Cruiser hard in the ass, sending the grenade flying out into the range where it explodes. Obstacle course. With the precision of an Olympic gymnastics team, the A1 platoon moves full speed through the various obstacles. What a bunch of dicks. In this challenge course, a Jeep, Captain Dillman and his corporal sit watching the crack platoon.
And fine men. Are they in my company?
No, sir. Those are your men, sir.
The camera pans over to show Roy and Harold's platoon struggling spasmodically to get over the first wooden barrier. The rifle range. As the camera pans across their eager faces, Roy and Harold's platoon are lying on their bellies, aiming their M16 rifles at paper targets.
Commence fire.
Harold takes cautious single shots. Roy grits his teeth and fires a long, intense burst. Psycho, grinning as he shoots, notices a bird flying overhead and jumping up. He opens fire on the bird.
Cease fire!
Everyone stops except for Psycho, who continues shooting at the bird flying over the tower. The people in the tower dive for cover.
What's the matter with you?
Rifle jam, Sarge!
Roy and Harold are proudly looking at their targets. Harold's is partially shot up. Roy's is untouched.
Did you keep one eye closed?
I kept both. I kept them both closed.
Time's up. Move it out.
Behind the platoon, a group of female soldiers walk up to the range carrying their M16s. Among them are Stella and Louise.
Hey, nice shooting, soldier.
How's the leg?
Do we lose
good.
her?
Good. Fine. It's fine.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
she's gone.
Nice haircut.
Thanks.
Looks like you're doing all right.
Well, if you ever want a few pointers, we're available.
We'll keep that in mind.
Stella and Louise walk up to the range. Harold and Roy stand aside to watch.
Commence fire.
Like lightning, Stella and Louise fall to one knee and blast away, totally obliterating the centers of their targets. Harold and Roy look on amazed as Holka comes up behind them.
I said time to move out. You boys deaf?
Shell shock, Sergeant. I think I need medical leave.
He drags them off.
You think those two have a chance?
Not remotely. Go ahead.
They weren't even good civilians.
Barracks. Come on back, Erin,
Rude.
please. Harold is
Rude.
stretched out on a bunk, reading a magazine. The rest of the platoon is getting dressed in civvies or playing cards. Leon comes in looking at his pay stub.
I don't believe this, man. They deduct everything. It's just like they say, the rich get richer and the black get blacker.
Suddenly, Roy bursts in wearing a Hawaiian shirt and waving some papers.
Come on. We got to pack. We got to pack.
Pack for what?
Down south on a C-140. It's all set up. I gave the girl in Dillman's office $25 and she typed up the orders. It's the magic of bureaucracy. Now get packed.
But I've never flown before.
Oh, it's easy. You just flap your arms and you go up you go.
Ryan freaked me out too, man. Here, take a couple of these before you go up. They really help.
Thanks, Elmo.
Road sign signpost. It reads,
Everybody
U.S.
knows.
Army, restricted zone. Use of this roadway limited to authorized personnel. The camera pulls back to reveal Roy and Harold walking backwards past the sign as they hitchhike. There's no traffic. A Jeep appears down the road.
Okay, here we go.
Roy sticks his thumb way out as the Jeep whips past and skids to a stop in front of them. Stella and Louise stick their heads out.
You two want to ride?
Roy and Harold run up and climb in, and the Jeep pulls away.
We seem to be running into you guys a lot these days.
Must
Okay,
be
sorry,
fake.
guys. I got knocked off, and I don't know what page we're on now.
Page
Checking-
40.
Oh, sorry.
40?
Yeah, 40.
1967.
Okay, I'm coming.
It was right on time.
Okay.
Perfect timing.
Literally
Inside
right on
Jeep.
time.
Okay. You're not going AWOL, are you?
No, deserting. Actually, we're going to a combat readiness mission. The orders came through today.
What did these cost you? If you paid more than $15, you got ripped off.
If those papers turned out to be phony, we'd have to arrest you. You could get 6 months.
Harold gives Roy a "what did you get me into now" look.
Listen, call the Secretary of Defense and check us out. Go ahead. Go do it. Hello, over. Get me the Pentagon. Come in, Pentagon. All right, our plane leaves the airbase in 5 minutes, and I'm telling you, if we're not on it, heads will roll.
Well, now we wouldn't want to ruffle any feathers in Washington.
Stella floors it. The girl's Jeep, lights flashing, pulls out onto the runway. Roy and Harold grab their suitcases and get out.
Don't catch malaria.
If I come out of this thing alive, will you marry me?
No.
You don't have to answer now. Think about it.
Roy and Harold run toward a waiting plate and scramble up the ramp.
Incredible.
Roy and Harold climb through the hatchway into the plane. It is empty except for a ground crew mechanic who is checking an oxygen tank.
This plane going south?
I think I'm going to be sick.
Oh, relax. It's just like taking the train, only much more dangerous.
Oh, thanks a lot.
He swallows 2 pills.
What are those?
From Elmo. I think they're Dramamine.
Roy takes the vial and holds it up to the light.
I like to panic you on your first flight, but I don't think this is Dramamine. I think that's acid.
Acid?
How much did you take?
1 in the barracks and 2 just now.
Jesus.
And 1 on the road and 2 in the Jeep.
You better do up your seatbelt.
Harold nods. Suddenly his eyes grow wide in terror and he points to the front of the cabin.
Oh, wow, it's starting.
Entrance hatch, one by one, a squad of menacing, steely-eyed troops enter the plane. Their faces are blackened and they all carry machine guns, knives, and grenades. On their blue berets, they wear a unit insignia which reads, "Kill or die." Without saying a word, they move in and take their seats.
I don't believe this. Killer minstrels.
The gruff unit commander approaches Roy and Harold as the airplane's engines start up.
Who are you? You're not in my uniform.
We're on special assignment, Captain.
Camptown ladies, sing this song. Doo-da,
This
doo-da.
is Captain Wayne, and he's demolitions, and I'm Major DeSoto, intelligence.
Intelligence? You on a convert mission or something?
No, we're going to the beach.
Hey, that's all we can tell you at this time. You'll be briefed at the proper stages. Dismiss, Captain.
Yes, sir.
He salutes and leaves, gaping at Harold, who is busy staring at the veins in his hand. The plane lifts off, and as the plane rises, Harold looks out the window.
Also, there's no windows in the back of a C-130. Whatever.
Damn,
We're gonna be technical about it.
There's no windows back there. It's all steel. Sorry. Continue.
Whose line is it?
Harold, as the plane rises.
Oh, no, the line is...
Oh no, the land is sinking.
Take it easy. This stuff's gonna wear off in 8 or 10 hours.
Roy picks up Harold's arm and holds it in front of his face.
Look at this for a while.
Oh, wow.
Transport plane. Roy is asleep, but Harold is no longer beside him. The unit commander passes by and drops a parachute in Roy's lap.
Ready to go, Major?
Go where?
He sees the other soldiers lined up at the jump hatch with parachutes on their backs. Then he notices Harold is gone.
1 minute to target.
Roy jumps up and pushes through the line of paratroops, frantically strapping on his chute. He finds Harold near the head of the line, and just as the door slides open...
What are you doing?
We've landed, and now we're all going backpacking.
Harold, don't be a jerk.
They keep moving up the line as the soldiers bail out one by one and realizes that they're next.
Just listen, sit down for a minute.
Pretty windy out there. Hope it doesn't rain.
Go.
No!
Harold steps out. Roy lunges desperately to catch him and tumbles out after him, screaming in terror. 8,000 feet in the air, Harold and Roy float down within earshot of each other.
Roy, we're flying.
No, Harold, we're falling.
Jungle. Roy and Harold land in the jungle and are covered over by their parachutes. Getting out from underneath, they stand up and brush themselves off.
You okay?
Yeah, fine.
I guess we better try and find those other guys.
Okay. Why don't we head towards where that orange dolphin is flying?
No, let's try the path.
We're thinking.
Harold looks down and takes long, deliberate steps. 2 Latin American banditos are watching Roy and Harold through binoculars. They talk in Spanish as they watch Roy guide Harold along the path.
In Spanish, guys.
These 2 look very suspicious.
No, that's not Spanish. That's English.
That's
They look like idiots.
Mira, muy suspicioso.
Oh my God.
Okay.
This is wrong.
They look like idiots.
I think they may be circling around and laying a trap for us.
No, they're definitely idiots.
I'm starving.
He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a chocolate bar.
Want some?
Suddenly, a snare trap springs, flipping Harold up and over and hanging him upside down from a tree by one leg.
Hey, wait, hang on. I'll get you down.
As he takes a step, another trap springs, pulling him up and over.
I dropped the chocolate bar.
Suddenly, dozens of banditos carrying rifles come out of the jungle and surround Roy and Harold. In the bandito camp, Roy and Harold are being led at gunpoint toward the center of the bandit camp.
What if they search us and find the acid? This is a foreign country. We could get life. I don't want to spend the rest of my life rotting in prison.
Nervously, Harold pulls out the vial and hides it behind his back. A close-up of Harold's hands as he walks. He opens the vial and shakes the pills out into a large metal cauldron sitting on the ground. The bandito leader is standing near the fire, armed to the teeth and looking very evil. As the bandits begin to tie them up, the bandito leader pulls a red-hot poker out of the fire and holds it in their faces. Who sent you here and for what reason?
No, Dave's muted, I think.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh, Dave.
Oh, there you go.
Got it. Who sent you here and for what reason?
Let me handle this. I took some Spanish in high school. Con cómo estás con grandmatra? I would like to meet your grandmother.
Why are you here?
Bon dia, cien los amarratas es con frenes dientes. I woke up, I got out of bed, I brushed my teeth.
If you do not answer me, I will cut your balls and roast them for dinner.
Roy looks a little worried at the leader's hostile tone. Harold recognizes the Spanish word for dinner and gets excited.
I know that one. Dende carnero eat que dinero. What time will dinner be served?
Harold, happy with his performance, gives Roy an A-OK sign.
I am wasting my time. These men are idiots. I told you so, my captain. Shut up, you asshole. Yes, my captain.
Another bandito comes over and hands a plate of stew to the leader.
First, I eat. Then you die.
The other side of the guerrilla camp, the bandito is sitting on the ground laughing and talking as they eat stew. When the camera gets to the cooking pot over the fire, it pans down to Harold's little vial laying open on the ground. They start looking at their spoons and their hands and the veins in their arms and begin to mutter, "Oh, wow," in Spanish. The two guards standing over Roy and Harold begin to get unduly fascinated with their ammunition belts.
Sorry, the fire alarm is going on in my house. That is very good.
Distraction!
Drink.
Hey, should you be leaving?
No, it's literally just a pizza. It's a pizza smell.
Dave, put out the fire at Henry's house.
This might be an excellent time to say goodbye to our Latin American friends.
Struggling to their feet, Roy and Harold start to hop away. The banditos see Roy and Harold hopping around and start to imitate them, laughing hysterically. Town square, two uniformed Latin American policemen are lounging around the big fountain of the town square when suddenly they hear singing and they look up. Harold and Roy come dancing in the street, leading the entire band of stone banditos in a kind of crazy conga line, all singing "Cuando" at the top of their lungs. The policemen leap to their feet and pull their guns. Other policemen join them and they start heading up the banditos.
Okay, cutthroats over here. You rapists and terrorists, line up over here. Come on, people. Work with me.
The police are forcing the banditos up against the wall and disarming them.
The 80s.
The transport jet lands and taxis to a stop. Roy and Harold climb out of the plane with the counter guerrilla squad. The commander comes up and salutes smartly. Roy and Harold now wear blue killer die berets.
Congratulations, Major. Some job you did back there.
Don't congratulate us, Captain. It's just a job. Death is our bread and butter. If you ever need help, just give us a call.
The barracks. The platoon are all sleeping soundly. Roy and Harold, still wearing Hawaiian shirts, look particularly zonk. The quiet of the morning is shattered by reveille.
Kill that guy blowing that fucking bugle.
Suddenly, Holka storms in and starts banging on the lockers with his fist.
Come on, you dirtballs. You get on your feet. We're running the confidence course in 15 minutes. Let's go.
Why don't you kill Hulka too while you're at it?
Yeah, Hulk first, then the bugler.
Dillman's office. Captain Dillman is sitting at his desk meticulously putting the finishing touches on a little plastic model of a tank. He looks at the tank, smiles, and sets it down in the middle of a little model battlefield covered with little plastic soldiers. The sounds of real soldiers singing as they march by drifts in through the open window. Dillman's corporal comes in with a huge stack of papers and puts them on his desk.
Major Ellis would like you to go over these interim reports, Captain Dillman.
Interim reports? That's all I ever do around here. I want some action.
Captain Dillman stares out the window. A crack platoon marches by in perfect formation as they sing cadence.
Are those my men, Corporal?
No, sir. They're Captain Benton's men, sir.
Well, where are my men?
Let's see. Sergeant Hookah's on the confidence course.
Drink!
You drink. We all drink. Everybody drinks.
So where am I in?
You're at Mortars. Martyrs.
No, right. Orders. Terrific. Bring up the Jeep.
Mortar field. A mortar team is receiving instructions from Sergeant Crocker as Captain Dillman and his corporal pull up in their Jeep.
Ah, shit. This is all I need. Attention!
Hang on, Sergeant. I'm just here to observe.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Crocker and Dillman's corporal exchange a nervous look as Dillman wanders off down the firing line. Confidence course. Sergeant Holka is shouting at his platoon as they struggle over the various torture devices that make up the Army obstacle course. Hector, the halfway up the 30-foot tower, is having trouble.
Sergeant, I'm not gonna make it.
Come on, climb.
Heather takes a step up. Hector takes a step up, loses
Oh,
his
I gotta
balance
agree.
and falls, hitting the water surrounding the tower. Roy and Howard, standing nearby, help pull Hector out as Hector stands up there wet and thriving. Holka comes over.
Wet and
How do
thriving.
you expect to survive?
I described my life.
I'm nothing better than you.
I don't see you climbing no towers.
Okay, watch me, ladies. This is how it's done.
The drill sergeant begins to pull his body expertly up the tower towards the top. Captain Dillman is expecting one of the mortar teams.
All right. Let me see how you prime this mortar.
Sir, you don't prime a mortar. You just set it and fire it.
I know that, soldier. I didn't get those bars in a crackerjack box. Now I want to see you fire this weapon.
What coordinates, sir?
Coordinates?
Yes, sir. They determine where the...
Private, the Army has spent a lot of money teaching you how to fire this thing. Now set it and fire it.
Sir, we don't know where the shell is going to...
Soldier, the only way to learn anything is to do it. Now let's see you fire that thing.
The private shrugs and reluctantly fires the mortar. The shell whistles away and Dillman scans the range with binoculars.
No, that wasn't so difficult, was it?
Confidence course. Sergeant Holker reaches the top of the wooden tower and yells down to the recruits.
Any one of you suckholes want to come up here and knock me down?
A distant whistling sound gets louder as the mortar shell comes shooting over the hill and blows the 30-foot tower to bits. There is nothing left but smoke and splinters. The recruits stare in disbelief at the smoking wreckage as Holka's scorched hat twirls to the ground. Ox shouts to the recruits from a spot on the other side of the course.
Guys, over here!
The recruits go running to Ox and find him kneeling over Holka, who is alive but in a state of total shock. Most of his uniform has been blown away. He's flat on his back and staring blankly at the sky.
Jesus, he's still alive.
Sergeant, does this mean we're through for the day?
He groans painfully as a military ambulance comes screeching into the obstacle course. In Dillman's office, the platoon is lined up in 2 rows in front of his desk. Roy and Harold are in the back row.
Men, I realize that this tragic injury to your drill sergeant is a real shock, especially to those close to the basic training. As far as I'm concerned, Sergeant Crocker is 100% to blame for this entire incident.
That's not what I heard.
Who said that? I want to know who said that.
The front row timidly parts, revealing Roy standing there staring straight at him.
I did, sir.
I don't care what you heard, soldier, but my report states that Sergeant Crocker was negligent in his mortar instruction and totally unable to control his men.
I mean, your way, sir.
That I will. And I don't want to hear more insubordinate wordy. Wait.
Just drink it, Rico. There's a lot of work.
I know. I'm taking for the team. You bet I will, soldier. And I don't want to hear one more insubordinate word out of anyone in this platoon. The subject is closed. Now I suggest you stop worrying about what Sergeant. Now I see.
We're gonna get there.
I suggest you stop worrying about what happened to Sergeant Holka and start worrying about what you're gonna how
A lot of words.
Alcohol. Now, I suggest you stop worrying about what happened to Sergeant Holka and start worrying about how you're gonna pass muster at graduation. This platoon is worst at my command. This platoon is worst in my command, and I will not be embarrassed by you in front of General Barnaky and his staff. You've got 3 days to get it together, and if it's any help to you, I don't think you're gonna make it. Now get out of here. Dismissed.
Pay office. Roy comes out of the pay office counting his money and sees Stella waiting in line outside.
Hey, hi.
Oh, hi. You just get paid?
Yeah, 463 big ones. The way they've been running us around in basic, I think it comes to about $1 a mile.
Yeah, I heard about your drill sergeant. I'm really sorry.
Yes, he and I were very close. We're having a party tonight to celebrate, actually. Would you like to come?
No, I wouldn't.
You must think I'm pretty obnoxious.
You must be psychic.
You know, I'd really like to get past this hostility thing with you.
Well, you're the one who starts it.
I know that it's a problem I've had for a very long time, but next time I see you, I promise I'll be nicer.
I can hardly wait.
Dillman's office. Dillman is at the window gazing out through high-power field glasses mounted on a tripod. Through the window in the woman's shower room, he can see nude and semi-clad female personnel going in and out of the showers and locker room. Dillman?
David, no.
Dillman?
Hold on.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I think Rico's got a drink again.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
What he is doing is not okay. Office door.
Says you.
Dillman's corporal enters with General Spike Barnaky, toughest 2-star in the Army, right behind him.
Excuse me, Captain.
Dillman continues gazing through binoculars.
Not now, Corporal. This one's got tits like the Hindenburg. Not now, I said. This is peak shower hour, and I don't want to.
Dillman!
Dillman lurches in surprise, which knocks the tripod over, smashing the window with the binoculars. Binoculars.
Sorry, sir.
Articles right out the window.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, sir.
General Barnaky to see you, sir.
I can see that, Corporal. Dismissed. Welcome to Fort Arnold, sir. It's a real pleasure to...
Let's skip the bullshit, Captain. I've got a problem and I need your help. You've heard of the EM50 project?
Yes, sir. It's a new tank or something?
We called it an urban assault vehicle. The Pentagon wants to unveil it for the new media cycle. Nope. I'm doing it just like... Unveil it for the news media next month in Italy. What I want from you is a real crackerjack platoon of new recruits to man the EM50, real go-getters. We'll have them photographed putting the EM50 through its paces. Our newest soldiers with our latest weapon, that kind of thing.
I see. Well, you can count on me, sir.
You screw this up, Dillman, and I'll have you assigned to a weather station above the Arctic Circle. You got that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
The main drag, Sedgwickville, Kentucky. The main street is a neon-lit collection of movie houses, bars, strip joints, greasy spoons, and amusement arcades. Soldiers and teenagers parade up and down the street, oogling the town girls and hookers. A lot of oogling in this script. Harold and Roy come walking down the street with Ox, Cruiser, Leon, Hector, and Elmo. Ox and Cruiser want to stop and look into every club they pass. Roy pulls them along, intent on getting to the party.
Where is this place, Roy? Cruiser's getting dangerously horny.
Right around the corner.
They turn the corner and see a large old colonial house. They can hear music blasting away inside as they approach the door.
This must be it.
Looks like a swinging funeral home.
Roy rings the bell and good-looking hostess answers the door.
Hi, looking for someone?
Hi, yeah. Is there a party inside?
Why, yes. It's in the ballroom. I hope you guys won't mind kicking in for the drinks and stuff.
How much?
$50.
No problem.
Each. $350 for the group.
$350? Look, guys, we're talking about first class party in here. Fun is expensive.
They reluctantly pay.
You better have crab meat dip in there for $50 a piece.
That might be the best line of the script.
Yeah.
The guys enter and see a room full of soldiers and girls dancing, drinking, and seducing each other. Right in the center of the room is a good-sized mud wrestling pit. The MC, a first-class sleaze in a body shirt and gold chain, starts talking, and people start crowding around the ring.
Just step right up, guys. Don't be afraid to get too close. If they splash a little mud on you, the girls promise to lick it all.
Roy and Ox work their way ringside as two girls enter and stand just outside the mud pit. One is dressed as a nurse, and the other is a prim stewardess.
They're going to wrestle in the mud. Now this is a class act. Nurse, nurse, nurse.
They're going to get into it in a minute, gentlemen. And while they take off their hats, I want to find a volunteer who wants to mix it up with them. Now, what do you think it's worth to you to fight one full 5-minute round with these two helpless?
Soldiers start calling out bids. Roy grabs Ox as the girls start stripping in the background.
You got to do it, Ox.
Forget it, Roy.
Come on, you told me you used to wrestle in high school.
I said I used to get beat up a lot in high school.
The big man here will fight. $453. $63.
Got it, my friend.
The bar. Harold and Cruiser are getting drinks. Harold can't take his eyes off the beautiful girl beside him who is dressed like a cheerleader.
Oh, you fighting tonight?
No, but I'm up for anything you want to do, honey.
Nah, man. Wait a minute. This is me. You can't take this away.
It was in my email.
It was in my email.
Better. You would do it much better.
Well, you just gotta give this one up.
No, I'm curious to see Clay do this.
No.
You gotta sass it up, Clay.
I'm double checking my email.
Cheerleader.
No, but I'm up for anything you want to do, honey.
It says
I'm
cheerleader
flexible.
in my email.
Come on up, sweetie.
If you're gonna do it, Clay, you gotta sass it up.
Billy Ray was up to some shenanigans. I've got cheerleader. It's what's right there next to my
I
name.
don't understand shenanigans. I don't know what that means.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Hey, what about me?
Cruiser may be the only guy we know who couldn't get laid in a whorehouse.
Mud wrestling pit. Ox is stripped down to trunks and Roy pushes him up to the pit.
Hey, these guys look like these girls look like they work out.
All you got to do is stay away from them for 5 minutes.
Are you kidding me? The nurse looks like Wonder Woman.
All right, $10. $10 to say they can't pin the big man.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Those two chicks are killers.
Okay, who else? My money's on the big guy. Big guy.
Bedroom. Harold sits on the bed, stupefied, while the cheerleader leaps and kicks.
Hey, take it away. Grab that ball and fight.
He does a cartwheel.
Do a cartwheel, Alex.
Thank you.
That's great, Alice. You give great cheer. But I thought we could maybe skip the first few dates and try something a little heavier.
Oh, yeah, sure. Great. I can do it. Now, French, Greek, Oriental, Swedish, half and half around the world, mix and match or fielder's choice. Take your pick.
Okay, how about around the world?
Oh, super. I love around the world. But it's going to cost you $300.
No.
Gee, that's a lot. Got anything for around 20?
Well, Oriental is about $24.95, including tax.
That's more like it.
Now you just lie down and make yourself a fee.
Mud pit. The wrestling match is about to start. The bell rings and the girls come flying at Ox, hit him high and low, and bring him down hard into the mud. Ox crawls towards Roy.
They look scared. Will I find some more action?
I am scared.
Good. It'll be more realistic.
The girls leap on Ox and start tying up his limbs with painful arm and leg locks. In the bedroom, Alice fully clothed is singing Sukiyaki as she walks along Harold's spine when he lies in bed.
Sora no you and me. Aruto Namiga Kabore.
He knows it.
Does not feel, it just make you feel so relaxed.
Oh, yes. The mud wrestling ring, the lady wrestlers now have oxen, a double Boston crab as Roy appears nearby at ringside.
Okay, we've milked it dry. You can cut loose now. Let him have it.
Let him have it! I can't move!
The lady wrestlers drop Ox's legs and grabs his arms. Lifting Ox to his feet, they whip him into the ropes. He bounces off, falls straight back into the mud, and lies there motionless.
Oh, meow nuts.
Over the rope.
Over the rope.
Over the rope.
He runs along the ring apron to where Ox lies fallen.
Get up. Get up.
His head falls to one side and he moans. The lady wrestlers, they begin to approach him.
Don't let me down, big fella. I'm counting on you.
As Ox begins to stir, the two lady wrestlers arrive beside him. Each one grabs him by an arm and a leg. Straining, they lift his body up off the mat and prepare to give him the heave-ho over the ropes. They swing him once without letting go.
One.
Make your move, Ox.
The girl swings his lean body again, higher this time.
Two.
Steele looks terrified.
Show him what you're made of.
As the lady wrestler swing Ox back a third time, he suddenly grits his teeth, stiffens his arms and legs, and starts to shake. Caught off balance by his shifting weight, they lose their footing and fall backwards, screaming as they're buried under his massive body. The bell rings to end the match. Go wild. They run into the ring, stand Ox up, and raise his arms in victory. Ox. Large entrance. Dozens of armed policemen pour in. Roy standing in the middle of the ring with both fists full of cash. Roy looks over and sees armed policemen. In the house later, a parade of disheveled soldiers are filing into several paddy wagons. Harold and Roy are being herded up to one of the paddy wagons. Suddenly, a feminine hand collars Roy.
Special detail, Hanson. We'll take care of these two.
Stella and Louise slap handcuffs on Roy and Harold and lead them away. In Stella's Jeep, the girls push Roy and Harold into the back seat.
Are we in trouble or not?
Look at it this way. We're going for a ride with two heavily armed women.
Road out of town, the Jeep winds its way down a dark, lonely road as Roy and Harold sit handcuffed in the back seat.
Isn't that an awfully rough place for you two to be hanging out?
I'll say it's rough. $75 and all I got was a free drink.
I hope you did better. I hope you did better than that.
I tried, but it's hard finding people you can really relate to.
Really? I would have thought hookers and mud wrestlers are just your speed.
The Jeep makes a sharp turn and pulls through a gate with a sign above it reading, "Danger! Do not enter! No personnel beyond this point." Stella and Louise get out.
After you.
The guys look at each other apprehensively. The edge of the woods, Roy and Harold, still handcuffed, follow the girls out of the woods and into a hillside overlooking fields hundreds of feet below.
Okay, sit down here and be quiet.
Louise and Harold wander off together. For a moment, all that can be heard is the wind in the trees. Then, blam! A series of thundering explosions shattering the silence as the sky erupts into enormous balls of red flame, which light up the entire area.
Relax. It's a night maneuver. Just pretend we're at a drive-in movie.
She pulls closer to him, and they look at the bursts of gunfire and phosphorescent tracer shells slicing across the fields below.
You're really very pretty for a cop.
Thanks. Are those handcuffs hurting your wrists?
No, they fit fine. I look good in chrome.
Good.
They both go back to watching the fireworks. Roy turns and looks at Stella again.
Listen, you could actually do me a favor if you don't mind.
Yes?
Yeah, I got this pain just under my left shoulder. Would you mind rubbing it for a bit?
How's that?
Oh, good. Good. Get a little higher. Yeah, that's good. You know, you have very strong hands.
I do a lot of karate.
I tried karate, but I couldn't scream loud enough.
How's that feel?
Perfect. Yeah.
You know, you have a knot in there. Must be
You know,
tension.
Yeah, my job carries a lot of responsibility.
Lean your head back.
Roy leans his head back and looks up at her as a flare goes off in the sky.
You are pretty.
For a cop.
For anybody.
They kiss. Louise sits up a bit as the fireworks momentarily quiet down. Harold's handcuffs are off.
Have you ever played Force Field?
No, how do you play?
The way you play it is you pretend that
Hold on,
both
guys,
of
one
us...
sec. Is there something in somebody's background? There sounds like there's a television on or something.
Yes. Yes. Natalie, could you lower the volume on your... You can hear
Seriously,
it on the
Natalie.
Natalie.
Yes.
Natalie's like, I have no interest in this stripes thing that you're doing because I'm gonna watch an episode of Too Hot to Handle on Netflix.
Right.
Mustache. I'm gonna literally do anything else.
Yes, it's because of the mustache.
Henry, that was the most polite.
That was so cute. It really was.
She hits me. That is why I do that. It's that I'm fractionally afraid of physical violence.
That's a man that's dancing above his weight class and a wife and is trying to not rock the boat.
Absolutely.
Keeping it copacetic.
It was
Natalie.
wonderful.
Natalie.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. All right. Have you ever played Force Field?
No. How do you play?
The way you play is you pretend that both of us have force fields all around our bodies.
Yeah.
And we try to get as close to each other as possible without actually breaking the force fields.
She moves even closer to Harold. Her lips are only an inch away from his. Without touching him, she gently kisses the air in front of his face. Then she slowly and teasingly runs her hands a fraction of an inch above the surface of his body. Harold, getting excited, raises his hands and moves them over her body, trying to decide exactly where on her force field to place them.
So, how do you win?
Well, if the other person breaks your force field, then you win.
Louise starts to move her tongue inches away from his lips.
I'm not
Harold,
doing that.
unable to control himself any longer, breaks through and kisses her.
You just broke my force field.
Yeah, you win.
They kiss again. Captain Dillman's bungalow. Two MPs are talking to Dillman, who is wearing pajamas, a bathrobe, and a helmet liner. Ox, Cruiser, Hector, Leon, and Elmo are all there, handcuffed together, very drunk and covered with mud, and Dillman crosses to him.
Well, explain yourself.
Weird it was bingo night at the YMCA, sir. Guess we got the wrong address.
Shut up. No more excuses. You men are a disgrace. 2 days in the stockade to change a rotten attitude.
I think we have some interference there, Rico. Maybe that's with you?
Nope.
It's Alex. It's Alex.
It's me?
It's Alex. Yeah, it's Alex.
How
did I do that?
Anything. Y'all just threw me under the bus.
How'd I do that?
Someone vacuuming or?
Yeah.
This is going great, guys.
It's fine.
Turn off the lawnmower, God damn it!
God damn it.
9 o'clock, you're not supposed to be mowing your grass.
I apologize, Rico, for throwing you under the bus.
How'd my name get thrown in there?
Because every time there was interference, it would highlight your
It
picture.
would show you guys.
Yeah,
Really?
it tells on you.
You know, I'm sitting here reading my Kindle. I don't know what y'all
See,
doing.
I think Zoom is racist. I think that's what it is. Zoom is racist.
Zoom is racist?
Zoom is racist
Or sexist.
Sexist too. It's both.
That's women.
We almost made it to the halfway point, guys.
Here we go.
Wait, what was that?
That was me starting music briefly. Let us continue.
Oh.
Bottom of page,
Waypoint yet?
the bottom of page, whatever the fuck, 74.
yeah.
Scene 128.
Shut up. No more excuses. You men are a disgrace. Maybe you need a few days in the stockade to change your rotten attitude.
But we're supposed to graduate tomorrow, sir.
That's right. You are. That's even better. Tomorrow, you will be on parade in front of General Barnaky, and when he sees what total fuck-ups you are, I will personally recommend to him that your whole platoon be forced to repeat the entire course of basic training starting over from day one. And if you think it was tough first time, you just wait and see how tough it can get. Now get out of my sight. Dismissed.
Army Road. The girls' MP Jeep weaves erratically down the road as the four of them sing loudly.
Dum
Dum dum dum dum dum. Dang 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 dang.
Bomba da bomba dum 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 ba da bomba da bomba dag 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 ding dong ding blue blue. It brings a tear to the eye Stella is driving. Roy lies with his head in her lap and his feet out the window as he sings loudly. Harold and Louise are in the back, smuggled close together.
No, if things keep up like this, I may re-enlist.
First, you have to graduate.
You know, they still haven't told us where we're going after graduation.
We're going to Germany. Why don't you put in for Germany?
Yeah. Hey, Roy, what do you think of going to Germany?
I don't think we have enough gas.
Oh. In the barracks, the platoon is sitting motionless on their bunks looking depressed. Their rifles are lying in pieces on the floor, and a Jeep is heard pulling away as Roy and Harold enter.
Hey, who died?
Delman freaked out when the MPs brought us back.
Cruiser.
Alex?
It's me.
Drake.
If we screw up a graduation tomorrow, we're gonna have to take basic training all over again.
Well, we've got all night. Why don't we practice?
We've been practiced and we still stink. We couldn't even put our guns together.
Then we have to practice more. Okay, let's go down to the motor pool where there's more room.
The men look at each other, shrugged, and reluctantly get up. In the motor pool, a clock reads 5:30 a.m. In the background, we hear Harold barking orders to the platoon and the sound of the platoon reacting instantly to his orders.
Right face, present arms, about face.
Motor pool, we see the dog-tired, red-eye platoon in total disarray, stepping on each other's toes and colliding with one another as they attempt to follow instructions. And Harold turns to Roy, who is sitting nearby with the Army Parade instruction manual open on his leg.
What do you think?
Try yelling louder.
Right face!
Ox steps on Leon.
Ow, watch it, fatso.
Watch it, fatso.
Ox grabs him and the soldiers start fighting among themselves. In the parade grounds, the graduation ceremony is in progress. In the fields, the drill sergeants and their platoons are standing in perfect formation, facing the reviewing stand. There is a gaping hole in the middle where Roy and Harold's platoon should be. Stella and Louise are standing in the crowd looking around.
Maybe they couldn't find the parade grounds.
It's right in front of their barracks.
That's what I mean.
Motor pool. Sunlight streams in the windows and the sound of the band can be heard in the distance. The motor pool clocks around 3 o'clock. The entire platoon is unconscious, bodies draped over trucks, tangled in the air hose, inside trees, etc. Hector and Cruiser begin to stir.
Oh, hey, what happened to our bunks?
Graduation's at 2 o'clock. What time is it now?
It's 3 o'clock, so we still got an hour.
They doze off again. Suddenly, Hector's head pops up.
3 o'clock. We're missing it.
Hector runs over to the other soldiers and starts shaking them awake.
Roy, wake up.
Huh?
Hector runs around to the other recruits, slapping their faces and shaking them.
Guys, wake up. We're missing graduation.
The reviewing stand. Captain Dillman is with his corporal, General Barnaky, and the other officers.
We checked their barracks, sir. They're not there.
If they're not here in 5 minutes, I want them all court-martialed.
Yes, sir.
And now, the graduating platoons will present themselves to General Barnaky.
The band starts to play, and the platoons, one by one, begin to proudly march past the reviewing stand. The motor pool. Hector is pouring coffee into cups as Cruisers hands them out to the platoon.
Well, it's all over now. We may as well not even show up. You white guys will probably get 5 years, but I'm going to get hung.
Oh, they'll never get me. I'll defect. Can you defect to Las Vegas?
Roy stands up, pulls out his killer dye beret, and puts it on, and then he walks to the front of the soldiers.
Hold on. You guys seem to have forgotten one very important thing. We're not just soldiers. We're U.S. soldiers. The finest fighting machine in military history. We don't have to learn to be great soldiers. We're born with it. It's in our blood, in our genes. Does a bird have to go to school to learn how to fly? Does a mongoose need a manual on how to kill a cobra? It is in their genes. What we have to do is stop worrying about, have we practiced enough, or is Dillman going to hang us? We have to be the great soldiers that we are inside. Because like that bird, like that mongoose, we know what to do. We just have to do it. Let's stay together. Do whatever I do, make me proud.
They all salute sharply. The parade grounds. The graduation ceremony is in its final stages as the last platoon parades past General Barnaky.
Well, they're screwed now.
I want those misfits arrested and put behind bars. Notify the military, please.
Yes, sir.
Great grounds. Out of nowhere, Roy and Harold's platoon comes running towards the reviewing stand, guns held over their heads, screaming like banshees.
Look, here they come.
Oh God, they're attacking the reviewing stand.
They stop suddenly in front of the reviewing stand in perfect formation.
Who the hell are they?
Sir, they're some of the men, sir.
I think I'd like a word with these latecomers, Captain.
Yeah, of course, sir.
Roy is standing at the front.
Whatever I say, you guys say.
Whatever he says, we say.
Where the hell have you been, soldier?
Training, sir.
Training,
sir.
And what kind of training, son?
Army training, sir.
Training, sir. I need to interrupt here for a second. Is the line that we're supposed to finish our drinks on, is it not in this script?
It might not be in the script.
It is.
Okay.
No, it is. It is.
It's just later?
It's just later. It should have, according to the movie, it should have happened earlier.
Okay.
But
As long as it's in the script, we'll continue.
Yeah.
These SNL guys just made shit up, man.
Fucking just
shit up.
Take our two
I'm
drinks.
that goody two shoe girl. I tell the truth.
Me, I always stick by scripts. You
The
know
best-
that, Jerry.
Okay, Henry.
The
Let me
platoon
just try
jumps forward in perfect synchronization and performs an elaborate, high-energy rifle drill. They leap, shout, present arms, shoulder weapons, and then spin their rifles in the air, catching them perfectly. Dropping the thieves in perfect formation. The men aim their guns and fire. The rifle fire splinters the woods around the reviewing stand and puts a volley of bullets into the marching band, knocking off their hats. The band scatters. Stella and Louise are amazed at this incredible display.
Ooh.
Oh, yep.
Drake!
Wait, what? Oh.
I see. Where's your drill sergeant, man?
Blown up, sir.
Blow
it up, sir.
Sir.
Yes, that's right. These are Sergeant Hulka's men, sir.
Great. Hulka.
I see. So I am to understand that you men completed your training on your own?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Incredible.
The General's Jeep drives up.
Dreep.
Yeah, it's an army jeep. A Dreep.
Dreep.
You don't know. You weren't in the service.
Is anybody the Jeep driver?
Sir, we've got 2 more reviews this afternoon, sir.
Yes. You men are U.S. soldiers. You have shown initiative in the face of adversity. Captain, these are exactly the kind of go-getters I want working on my EM50 project in Italy.
But sir, these men.
Don't butt me, Captain. I want them on the plane tonight. You see to it. Let's get the hell out of here.
The Jeep drives off fast as Captain Dillman looks on. The military airfield, Italy. Yeah. A subtitle appears on the screen. Fort Milano, U.S. Army Post, Italy. As an Air Force transport plane lands, the tired soldiers emerge and descend down a ramp where they are directed into waiting Army buses. In the Italian barracks, the bus pulls to a stop in front of them, and Roy, Harold, and the rest of the exhausted soldiers drag their bags inside.
Oh, I can't wait to hit those restaurants. I can already smell the Parmesan cheese.
That's Cruiser's underwear.
Right. Barracks. The guys start choosing bunks, fighting for the best ones and horsing around when suddenly a familiar voice booms out.
Buonasera, gentlemen. Welcome to Italy.
I've heard that voice before.
Hulka stands there looking meaner than ever, wearing lots of bandages and an eye patch.
Not again.
Well, just skip the tearful reunion and get a couple of things straight right off the bat. There's no glamour detail as far as I'm concerned. I want to see you grunts walking tall, looking good, and mentally alert at all times. And I'm going to bust your butts to make this the best goddamn outfit in the European Command. Now fall out and hit the sack and report to the motor pool at 0600.
Fort Milano. Reveille plays over the loudspeakers as the sun shines on the picturesque Italian countryside surrounding the base. 2 armed MPs stand guard in front of the motor pool entrance. Above them hangs a sign which reads, Project EM50, authorized personnel only. Hulk is standing in front of what appears to be a 26-foot camper van. Roy and Harold's platoon is lined up facing him, buzzing with excitement.
What? Now this General Barnaky's pet project, the prototype EM50 urban assault vehicle, the most sophisticated weapon in our modern arsenal. Fuck.
It looks like my cousin Manuel is Winnebago.
Button it up. It's been exactly 3 weeks. The general's flying a bunch of big shots in from Washington to watch the EM50 do its stuff. And in all that time, you'll be expected to load, drive, and fire the thing in a simulated combat situation.
Drink.
Leon.
Drink.
I think Leon. All right. All right.
Now get over to the duty roster and find your starting assignments. Move.
Motor pool. Dusk. The platoon is busy cleaning and polishing the EM50, and they look exhausted. Roy and Harold are each carrying big shells towards the vehicle as Hulka comes over.
Platoon, fall in. I need a couple of volunteers. You and you. After you get those shells loaded, vacuum out the inside, top to bottom. The rest of you men are dismissed until 0800 Monday morning. Before you two leave, I want this thing so clean I can eat off the floor. Now get moving.
I bet that son of a bitch does eat off the floor.
Harold opens the side of the vehicle and carefully lifts his shell into a rack. The interior of the vehicle is covered with complicated equipment, including a large control panel with built-in video screen.
I've had enough of this shit.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with me? I hate this. It's the worst job I've ever had.
Well, I'm happy. I'm in shape, I'm walking tall, and I've been in it for 10 weeks without getting fired.
Harold, you sound like a goddamn commercial. What we are here is slaves.
He gives the shell on the ground a kick, and it starts to slowly roll along the room. Harold watches as the rolling shell hits the wall with a loud clang and stops.
You better go get that shell.
Oh, yes, sir, Harold. Yes, sir.
Roy, pissed off, starts walking towards it.
I just wasn't meant for this kind of menial labor, right? I'm an intellectual. I should be in Rome or Florence looking at statues of naked women.
He heaves his shell into the EM50 where it lands noisily.
Your problem is that you're frustrated. You need affection. We're off until Monday. Why don't we go into town tonight?
The only girls in towns are nuns. I just don't have the stamina to date nuns, Harold.
So what do you suggest?
Roy looks over at the EM50, then back to Harold, and then both Harold and Roy look over at the EM50. At the Fort Milano motor pool, Captain Dillman's Alfa Romeo pulls up in front of the armed guard, and the captain gets out and escorts a redhead over to the entrance.
Don't forget, you promised to take me out for a real expensive dinner after we see this whatever it is.
Don't worry. Now, this is top secret military vehicle, so you can't tell anyone about it, okay?
Not unless they torture me.
Official business.
They go into the motor pool.
Now, when the Army entrusts an important project like this to an officer, it usually means that they're grooming him for a major promotion.
He opens the door of the EM50 assembly room and gestures for her to go in.
I think you're really going to like this.
Smooth talker. Smiling like an expectant father, Dillman follows her in. As he looks around the empty room, his smile slowly turns into a grimace, then a frown. A cold shudder grips his entire body, and his face turns bright red, then purple. He starts to shake.
Hey, you're not one of those epileptics, are you?
Where the fuck's my truck?
He rushes out of the motor pool and grabs the guard around the neck.
Where is the EM50?
A couple of soldiers took it out to get it washed, sir.
Took it out to get washed?
Is this a bathroom around here? I gotta pee. They had proper ID, sir. Should I notify post security, sir?
No. Keep your mouth shut. Shut about this. And don't let anyone into this area, not even the general.
Yes, sir. Big deal. So someone took your stupid truck.
EM50. Roy is, okay. Yeah, Roy is driving while Harold reads the EM50 instruction manual, his feet up on the dash.
Hey, this thing's supposed to have a phone.
Oh, great. We can tell the girls we're coming up.
Harold swivels in his chair and slides upon a control panel, exposing a video screen mounted in a complicated control.
Should be this button here.
He pushes the button. A shell fires from the top of the truck, blowing up a roadside billboard reading, "Keep your highways clean," in Italian. EM50.
Maybe it's this one.
He pushes another button and a red button pops out next to him.
Found it.
He picks up the receiver.
Doesn't have a dial.
Priority 5.
Hello?
Priority 5. Go ahead, sir. This is a priority line. Please identify yourself, sir.
What happened?
Harold?
Did we lose Ross?
The audio cut out. Sorry. Okay. They want to know who I am.
Tell them you're somebody important.
This is the director of the CIA. Get me Germany immediately, or thousands of innocent people will die, and it'll all be your fault.
Roy gives Harold the A-OK sign, and still in Louise's room, a number of female soldiers are walking past the door in various stages of undress as one of them, Trixie, walks in.
Hey, I've got 3 gorgeous Marines on hold for tonight. You 2 interested?
No, thanks. Those Marines won't take no for an answer. Oh.
I just say yes and get it over with.
Aw, it's scary to be a woman.
Isn't it though?
You're a real morale booster, Trixie.
Suddenly, a 40-ish female sergeant comes in carrying some papers.
There's a change in orders for you 2. You're to report to the Chateau von Habsburg at Auto Route 67 and meet with some agents from the CIA.
The CIA?
Yep, it just came in from the priority line. Must be pretty important.
Wait a minute. It says here we're assigned to Operation Herald.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Those guys really know how to sweep a girl off her feet.
This scene came so close to passing the Bechdel test.
So close.
They just could have.
So close.
This whole relationship
This movie
is
lacks
almost cute. It's
It's almost cute.
It's
Yeah, for the 80s, this is as good as it gets.
yeah, this is class.
No, we haven't. Dave, we haven't read As Good as It Gets yet. That's later.
We can do that. I love that one too.
Motor pool. Sergeant Holke's platoon is scrambling around, loading rifles, grenades, and boxes of explosives into a German Coca-Cola truck. They are all dressed like German hunters, wearing lederhosen, hats with feathers, and hiking boots.
I don't know why we have to wear these stupid outfits.
Captain Dillman's orders.
Front of the truck. Dillman, also dressed in lederhosen, is shouting orders.
Get those bazookas loaded. We may have to get rough.
Sergeant Holke approaches, also dressed like a German hunter.
Trace the EM50 into Germany. They're probably headed straight for East Berlin.
If you want my advice, there's a crack squad from the 42nd that'll link up with Air Recon and have the EM50 back here inside of 24 hours.
No, damn it. If we went outside to outside...
Drink. Outside drink.
The only way I drink. No, damn it. If we went to outside units, we'd be laughing stock of the entire armed forces. No, we're going to have to deal with this ourselves.
These numbnuts can hardly tie their shoelaces.
I don't care, Sergeant. Just get them into the truck and let's move out.
Psycho Ox and Cruiser are standing around the tailgate confused.
I guess we're going after Winger and Harold. I can't believe they're Russian spies.
Dave.
I fucked up.
Frank!
I forgot what page we're on.
This is a wonderful Psycho line, too.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm getting to it, guys. Finally, I got to kill someone. Found it, guys.
Well, they really had me fooled. You know, I should have known, though. Winger don't speak English good at all.
Ha ha ha. Lobby of the Chateau von Habsburg. Stella and Louise are looking out the front window of their luxurious European chateau.
Do you think they got lost?
Oh, calm down, Louise. We hardly know these guys.
I am excited, okay?
Pulls up front.
This might be them now.
Okay, but don't seem over anxious.
You made it!
I missed you so much.
Louise and Harold embrace passionately.
Sorry we're late. When we got to the German border, it turned out to be France.
Coca-Cola truck. Hector is driving. Dillman is beside them, navigating from a map while Hulka looks over his shoulder.
I can't see a thing up ahead, sir.
Just keep driving. The cutoff should be up here on the right somewhere.
Captain, if we turn right, we'll be heading towards...
Sergeant Hulka, when I want your input, I'll let you know.
The Coca-Cola truck passes a rain-soaked sign which reads Czechoslovakia, Verboten, 500 meters. Honeymoon suite, Chateau von Habsburg. Roy and Stella are lying side by side under the silk and satin covers of a large canopied bed.
This is so nice. My father was here during the war.
In this bed?
Stella gives him a look.
My dad wanted to join the army, but they wouldn't take him.
Why not?
Oh, his head
Why
was
not?
too big. His head was too big. So he opened up a grocery store, lost everything trying to corner the market on pomegranates, but enough about me. About your body.
Rolls over and kisses her.
When do you guys have to go back?
Well, we kind of left it loose, but if we don't bring the truck back by 8 a.m. Monday morning, we'll be court-martialed and thrown into prison for the rest of our adolescence.
Well, that doesn't give us much time.
They kiss. Oh, yeah, do they kiss. Harold and Louise are back kissing in the tight close-up. The camera pulls back and shows them in a bubble bath.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
You know, when I first met you, I kind of thought you would be a lot different, tougher.
Oh, come on. What made you think that?
Well, for one thing, the fact that you wear a gun.
Oh, well, the gun's just part of a uniform, like a helmet or the boots.
But I wasn't afraid of getting shot by your boots. What did you think of me?
The first time we met, I thought you were kind of fucked up.
And now?
I still think you're fucked up, Harold, but you're so cute.
They kiss and slip under the water. Glug, glug, baby.
That's how most girls react when they meet Ross. Like, I still think you're fucked up, but like, you're like super cute.
But like, smooch.
They slip under the water.
Yeah.
Who goes under the water in a bubble bath? Who goes and submerges fully under a bubble bath?
I do.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It's nasty,
80s
y'all.
comedy.
Someone that's trying to get laid, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And
I
now
always
this,
hold my breath.
and now this is the part of the read where what we call fun with accents. 2 Russian border guards are relaxing and playing checkers as the storm continues outside.
I would not send my grandmother out in the night like this.
Yes, unless I need some wood from the woodshed.
They laugh heartily. Suddenly there is a loud crash outside. Running to the window, they see Dillman's Coca-Cola truck smashing through the barrier into communist Czechoslovakia.
Just stepping over.
Intruders!
He slams an alarm while the other guards picks up a field telephone and alerts headquarters in the Coca-Cola truck.
Sir, I think we hit something.
Just keep driving, soldier.
For Christ's sake, Captain, we just drove through a goddamn...
Sergeant, this is my mission, and I'll thank you to let me run it. Now sit down.
Olka picks up his gear and moves to the back of the truck.
Fuck this.
Check road. Sergeant Hulka picks himself up out of the mud, grabs his gear, and makes his way up a hillside. In the Coca-Cola truck, it brakes to a stop in front of a wall of Russian tanks.
Oh.
What is the meaning of this? Who put those tanks there? Great acting.
I think they're Russian, sir.
Russian?
Floodlights illuminate the roadway as armed Russian soldiers surround them. A nearby hill, Hulka looks down at the captured truck.
Hulka.
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 Stupid
103.
asshole. That's it.
Stupid. Oh, stupid asshole. I'm a stupid asshole.
To von Habsburg. Roy, Harold, Stella, and Louise come out of the lodge carrying their suitcases. As they enter the EM-50, a loud beeping sound can be heard.
Oh no, the army traced us. We're going to be court-martialed.
What's coming in from over here?
He opens a compartment marked emergency communications and presses a button next to a flashing red light, and a voice comes over the speaker.
Jesus Christ. Mayday, code 21, status 7. Mayday, code 21, status 7.
Go ahead, Code 21.
I'm with the U.S. Army 41st Armored Division Bravo Company. We have a status 7 operation with a platoon and a CO held at by hostile 416379.
A transparent map grid appears over the blip on the radar screen.
Well, I don't believe it. This is the EM-50. It cost the Army over $10 million.
She tries to pinpoint the radio frequency.
Russian troops, maybe 200, fortified combat anti-aircraft coverage, tank patrols. Gotta move now, send help.
The transmission clicks off.
397. That's Czechoslovakia.
Wait a minute. 41st Armored?
Yeah, Bravo Company.
That's our platoon!
Well, they're fucked.
This is a status 7, like he said. They went in under. No. If this is a status 7, like he said, they went in undercover. So the DOD won't even acknowledge it.
Those guys are dead.
There is silence. Everyone looks at each other, then at the EM-50, and a long beat.
Oh, no. I'm not going in after them for $463 a month. I don't fight Russians unless there's a war. All right, look, since I was a kid, I was taught that there are two things I should never do: kill or die. Now, I might compromise on killing, but dying is out.
There's no way you're going to die. We've got the EM-50. I've been reading the manual. A 6-year-old could work it.
Forget it, Harold.
That's our platoon in there. It's Ox and Leon and Cruiser and all the guys.
And Psycho.
The only chance they've got.
And Elmo.
An Elmo.
Well, they forgot the first rule of modern defensive warfare: stay out of communist countries.
Roy looks at Stella, who looks very disappointed in him. Louise and Harold just stare at him for a long beat.
Okay, I'll go. But if we die, I want to go down on record as saying that I think it's a senseless waste of human life.
He starts the EM-50 and it roars off. In the Russian holding cell, Captain Dillman and the platoon, still dressed in their Happy Wanderer costumes, are sitting on a bench at one end of the cell, and 2 Russian officers stand in the corner.
They say they are German hunters, but they are driving a Coca-Cola truck and speak no German.
Well, take the smallest and torture him until he tells the truth.
Officer 1 motions the 2 guards who grab Hector and drag him out of the room, and the 2 guards are completing the repairs to their damaged gate. Hearing an approaching vehicle, they look up. The EM-50 squeals around a corner and heads straight for the Czechoslovakian border crossing. The guards jump out of the way as the van crashes through the barrier. A tired and unshaven Sergeant Holka is using his combat helmet as a frying pan to cook up some squirrel stew. Hearing a vehicle in the distance, he picks up his binoculars and looks through them. And through them, he sees the EM-50 racing towards a military installation. The compound has fortified walls which surround a main building and guard towers raising up on either side of the main gates. The EM-50 is about 300 yards away and closing fast. Inside it, Roy's driving as Harold sits in front of the control panel, furiously reading the instruction manual.
Raise the hydraulic armatures H12 and H13.
Read faster, Harold.
Depress main arming switch.
The compound entrance, sirens are blaring as the Russian soldiers take battle stations. From the twin guard towers, they open fire on the EM-50 with grenade launchers and bazookas. Inside it, the explosion shells rock the vehicle and raise clouds of dust and smoke in front of the windshield.
I think they're pissed off. Come on, Harold, blast them.
Harold sits in front of the video screen, which shows a computer outline of 2 guard towers. He flexes his fingers like a gunfighter waiting to draw. Suddenly, he pulls a lever, throws a switch, and presses 2 buttons, and the vehicle arms itself, exposing 2 huge missile clusters on the roof and flamethrowers on the wheels. Bulletproof shields slide down to cover the windows. Harold looks around, then with increasing confidence, he pushes 2 more buttons, and the rockets fire out of the missile cluster. The rockets hit the 2 guard towers perfectly, blasting them apart and clearing the entranceway.
Way to go!
He quickly starts gathering up his gear.
You did it!
A couple more like that, you win a free game.
Roy gets up on the driver's seat, keeping his hands on the wheel.
Here, take over.
Louise slides in and grabs the steering wheel while he moves to the side with Stella. The Russian guards throw Hector bruised and bloodied onto the floor.
Computer, silent. Sorry. Alexa.
Yeah, Rico's just talking to the computer.
No, Alexa wanted to play. Sorry.
The Russian guards throw Hector bloodied and bruised onto the floor.
This one knows nothing. Take him.
The two Russian guards grab a terrified cruiser and drag him from the room. A Russian tank is in hot pursuit of the EM-50, firing shells point blank, rocking the van violently.
Do something, Harold?
I think I'm starting to get the hang of this.
His hands fly over the complex control panel, working instinctively, and outside the EM-50, a big shell fires out of the rear of the vehicle, blasting the threads off the pursuing...
Crank.
Nice.
Then the EM-50 skids sharply around a corner and stops in front of the main building. The rear door is open, and Roy and Stella jumps out in full combat gear. Rolling onto the ground, they toss grenades into a barred window, blasting it apart.
Ladies first.
They dive through the gaping hole. Hallway outside the compound. Roy and Stella come in through the shattered wall and look both ways down the long hallway.
What do you think?
A dozen Russian troops appear at one end of the hall and raise their machine guns.
How about this way?
As they shoot off down the hall, Stella spins and shoots a burst of machine gun fire into an overhead steam pipe. Scalding hot steam pours into the hallway, stopping the Russians. Roy is impressed. The roof of the compound, a Russian officer looks down in the courtyard, watching as the EM-50 buzzes from one to another. Turning to his men, he hurries them as they struggle to re-aim an enormous long-range cannon so that it points down towards the EM-50. Roy and Stella around a corner and stop! They hear punches and screams from behind a door.
I'm not telling you nothing. No, you can beat me as much as you want. Okay. Oh, I changed my mind.
Roy nods and they both burst through the door. Inside, the two Russian officers are standing over a bruised and bloodied cruiser. Stella expertly kicks a blackjack out of some of the officers' hands and karate chops them while Roy butts his rifle into the other one's stomach, then into his face.
Oh, you look worse than usual.
Where are the others?
He points across the room to a heavy metal door, and Stella runs over and slaps some plastic explosive to it and shoves it in the detonator. They both press their backs against the wall as the explosion shakes the room. Boom! Through the smoke, we see that the metal door stands intact, undamaged.
Jeez, tough door.
Suddenly, the door handles turns, and it just fucking opens.
What's going on out here? What are you doing here?
Saving your ass, Stillman. Let's go, guys.
You men stay put. It's very small print. I'm in charge here.
You ever hear of mutiny? Let's move out.
Platoon follows immediately, and Psycho salutes as he runs past Dillman.
It's been a pleasure working with you, sir.
Dillman looks around as he hears a group of Russian soldiers entering the cell block from the other side. Then he runs to catch up his platoon.
Keep it moving up there.
The Russian officer looks through the sights of his big cannon at the compound. The EM-50 is directly in his crosshairs. Oh, no. He calls out a command, and his men fire. The EM-50 pulls away as the shell explodes just behind it, blowing up a huge hole in the ground. The force of the explosion rocks the van. Harold falls on the floor, but Louise manages to hang onto the wheel.
What was that?
Felt like an earthquake.
The officer curses angrily as his men load another enormous shell into the breach. I've got the hiccups. Roy and Stella lead Dillman and the platoon out of the building and into an alleyway. Suddenly, they freeze in their tracks.
Uh-oh.
In front of them, a large tank rounds the corner and enters the passageway, coming straight for them. Its side scraping against the walls as it closes in.
That's what I call a big tank. How come we don't have tanks like that?
They turn to run, but see only a dead end behind them. The platoon backs up. Stella fires her machine gun, but it doesn't even slow down.
It's gonna crush us. I hold you personally responsible.
Excuse me, everyone. Out here this way, please.
He walks forward, holding several lit sticks of dynamite, and Platoon hits the deck as Psycho stands alone facing the oncoming tank.
Eat this, fuckheads!
He heaves the dynamite at the tank. It hits, exploding violently. The tank stops. Psycho smiles, turns to the platoon, and bows. Suddenly, the tank rumbles back to life and continues down towards them.
Oh,
Psycho.
I'm doing a dramatic pause.
He's doing his preview.
Let me fucking
Get
act.
his
That
preview.
was Dave acting.
Hold on. Can I get a line? Let's go back a line, guys.
Psycho smiles, turns to the platoon, and bows. Suddenly, the tank rumbles back to life and continues to come towards them.
You can do this, Dave.
Shit.
The platoon, closing their eyes, say their final prayers. The tank keeps coming, its turret gun aiming, just about to fire. Suddenly, the tank explodes into a million pieces. Everybody looks up, and through the smoke, we see the EM-50 standing at the alley entrance. Harold and Louise stick their heads out.
Hurry up! We're out of missiles!
The platoon cheers as they scramble over the rubble towards the vans, and through the crosshairs of the cannon, we see the platoon scrambling into the EM-50. A Russian officer raises his hand, ready to fire. Sergeant Holka, a grenade in his teeth, pulls himself one-handedly onto the roof. 2 Russian soldiers try to stop him, but he elbows one in the face and kicks the other one in the balls. He then pulls the pin from his grenade and lobs it at the cannon just as the Russian officer gives the command to fire. The grenade explodes, knocking the gun out of position, and the huge shell shoots out into the air. The border guard post, 2 Russian border guards have just completed repairing and reinforcing their gate with the heavy iron rods and chains.
I've not worked so hard since Siberia.
Labor camp?
On vacation.
Hearing a strange whooshing sound, the 2 guards look up and see the big shell headed straight towards them.
Whoa!
They run like hell to get out of the way, and the missile lands directly on the guard hut, demolishing everything within a 30-yard radius. All that is left is a huge gaping crater. At the EM-50, Roy and Stella are the last to jump into the van. They slam the door shut.
Okay, move out.
He roars away. The roof of the compound, Sergeant Holka sees the EM-50 driving past.
I'm getting too old for this.
He leaps from the roof, landing squarely on the top of the truck. The Czech border crossing, one of the Russian guards is pulling the other vehicle out of the crater. Hearing an approaching one, they turn their heads.
Hang on!
He floors it. Sergeant Holka grabs the missile cluster and holds on for dear life.
Oh, shit!
Crater. The 2 guards jump back into the hole as the EM-50 hits a pile of rubble at full speed and sails gracefully over the crater, landing with a bounce on the other side. And the border guards look for a moment in amazement.
A flying truck!
Such a truck would be very good for picking up girls in Minsk.
The platoon yells and cheers as the van speeds safely away. In Fort Milano, Italy, a subtitle appears on the screen. Fort Milano, Italy. In General Barnaky's office, Fort Milano, Italy, he's sitting behind his desk listening as Captain Dillman gives his report. Roy, Harold, Stella, Louise, and Sergeant Holker are standing nervously behind Dillman.
And it is, in my opinion, sir, that these men have committed the gravest of treasonous acts against the United States of America and should suffer the harshest possible punishment under military law.
Dillman places his report on the general's desk. The general looks at the report for a moment, then raises his head.
Tell me, Sergeant Holka, in your opinion, how did the vehicle stand up to the Russian firepower?
He kicked the shit out of them, sir.
Good. How did it handle, soldier?
Soldier.
Winger,
Right.
answer me.
Nope.
What's Harold?
Harold.
Oh, Harold. I don't know your last name. Soldier, answer me.
Ross froze.
I think he froze.
Not bad, but she's a real pig on gas.
Oh, no. Ross froze. Okay.
Oh, did Ross freeze?
But we've got his audio, yeah?
Oh, there he is. There he is.
You're back.
Give him his line again, Barnaky.
All right. How did it handle, soldier?
Not bad, but she's a real pig on gas.
Hey,
hey, yo. Sir, I think we're missing the point here. The issue is not how the EM-50 handles, but how these men attempted to take.
I've heard enough from you, Lieutenant Dillman.
Sir, that's Captain Dillman, sir.
Not anymore, it isn't. And as for you, I think you showed courage and initiative in this particularly difficult situation. The Army owes you a great debt.
Army!
Army.
We may have passed our line.
Do you think we could collect on some of that now? We're getting a little low on cash. Nice.
A subtitle: Washington D.C. Have we skipped the line about?
It's not. This is not.
Same here. I don't think we.
There's no way that's happening.
I think we should all just finish our drinks. Everybody finish your drinks.
I think right now we just finish our drinks in respect of Patreon subscribers on that line.
And that's a fact, Jack. I can't
Thank
believe
you,
it was also
Patreon
not in the script.
subscribers.
That's a fact, Jack.
this one.
Thanks, you guys.
No boom chugga like a boom chugga like a boom. Come on. Come on.
I mean, we could have Erin say the line, but it's not in the script.
Aaron, say it.
Say it, Aaron.
Maybe.
Christ.
That sounded creepy. That was like fucking Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Actually, Erin, can you just say, put it on the last suit you'll ever wear for me real quick?
The last suit you're ever gonna wear.
There he is.
Great.
Men in Black.
All right.
It's a different movie.
On the show today.
Hatch door. As the hatch door opens, the camera pulls back to show photographers, TV news camera, and a marching band gathered around the ramp. Behind them, policemen hold back an excited crowd. Flashbulbs pop, and the band starts to play as General Barnacky gets out, followed by Stella, Louise, Roy,
Greg.
Yeah.
Harold wearing medals. Ox, Leon, Elmo, Hector, Cruiser, and Psycho are waiting at the bottom of the ramp in full dress uniform, standing rigidly at attention.
Man,
On
you're
guard!
drunk, Billy Ray.
Present arms.
The guys try to present arms but screw up with characteristic incompetence, accidentally poking each other, dropping their rifles and helmets, etc.
Oh, they've been explained as self-destruct command.
They walk on, waving to the cheering crowd. Roy, Harold, Stella, and Louise climb into a waiting limousine. Stella leans forward and taps the driver's shoulder.
It's the end of Ghostbusters as well.
Yeah.
The White House. And step on it. It's
The
literally
limo-
just the end of Ghostbusters, but in stripes.
The limo pulls away through the cheering crowd.
Well, only 912 days left in our hitch. Shouldn't we be making plans for when we get out?
Well, I was figuring either brain surgery or the Senate.
Take brain surgery. You need it.
You could try the Navy next.
Forget it. I can't swim.
So what? You're a hero. I'll teach you how to walk on the water.
Kiss me. I've never made out in a limousine before.
Roy and Stella kiss. The conversation continues as a series of newspapers, front pages with pictures of Roy and Harold on them spin forward. New York Daily News, U.S. soldiers rescue buddies. New York Times, heroes return to U.S. Washington Post, soldiers greeted at White House. Hollywood Reporter, Columbia offers $1 million for soldiers' story. Variety, heroes to star in GI pics.
Hey, we did it!
We did it! That is the script for Stripes.
Oh,
God damn it.
Jack. I can't believe it's on it.
Good job, team.
We
All right,
got
everybody stay on. Everybody on YouTube, feel free to jump over to MVP, donate if you can. We're gonna stop the live broadcast, but we'll stay on and drink some more for.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a couple little tidbits. Just so you know, next week we have a reading of Empire Records. We've got Michael Urie, Amy Simons, Andy Mientus, Olivia Taylor-Dudley, and we've got some super special guests that we're not going to share with you, but are pretty awesome. And we'll be releasing episode 1 of a new weekly series we're doing called Happy Hour, where we interview folks involved with the reads we're doing over drinks for, well, half a fucking hour. And our first interview is with Jason Lives director Tom McLaughlin, who will drop by, and you can check that out Thursday on Patreon and Friday for everyone else. Subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on social media at Scripts Gone Wild, and you can look at our Patreon where you can help support us, patreon.com/Scripts Gone Wild. So big thanks to our wonderful readers, Henry Zebrowski, Ross Marquand, Erin Cummings, Clarke Wolfe, Jeremy Gardner, Erin LaPlante, Rico Anderson, Alex Marshall Brown, Chris Devlin, Clay Keller, Ashley Song, Darren Smith, David Steele. That Script's Gone Wild, and we're going to cut the live broadcast right now.